is high school, but it's really high schoolers who are taking center stage tonight. We've been working with Gloucester High School to create this show. But it's also a fundraiser for the Galen Gibson Fund. And before we begin, I'd like to invite Celia Gibson up for some more information about what this fund does.
Hi. Ooh, can't see anybody. Okay. I'm Celia. Galen Gibson, my older brother. He was a wonderful human. Among many things, he was kind, very smart, empathetic, wise beyond his years, many people would say. We lost Galen in 1992 to the hand of a deranged fellow schoolmate who very easily got his hand on a semi-automatic weapon. In 1998, my dad, along with some colleagues and friends, family members, started the Galen Gibson Scholarship Fund, and now I think it's become the Galen Gibson Fund. Annually, this nonprofit organization donates money to the Gloucester Education Foundation, which is awesome, and it also donates to lots of local community-based organizations that deal with victims of gun violence and survivors, which is also very cool. My dad would have been here tonight to tell you about this, but he's down in Washington, D.C., doing the March for Our Lives. Please visit gomboy.com for any more information or to make a donation. And thank you all so much.
Thank you, Celia. March for Our Lives is tomorrow in Boston. There's a march starting about 11 a.m. from Roxbury Crossing, and it ends on the Boston Common. I'm going, along with my son, so I really do recommend if you can go. Wonderful. I would like to highlight storytelling in the high schools and invite Nathan Cohen from Rockport High School to come up and talk about what's happening at Rockport High School and related to storytelling. Nathan?
Hi, I'm going to keep this super short, both because I'm really excited to hear your stories and also because there's not a ton happening yet, but I'm here with a group of teachers from Rockport Middle School and High School, and we've just started working, putting together some ideas to put together, first, some faculty storytelling, the idea being storytelling is great and it's important, but also extending that to students, both for the sake of telling great stories and sharing great stories, but also because of the way that it extends into the classroom. And so we're really excited to hear stories tonight, and thank you.
And so many thanks go out to Cynthia Mohowski, who helped with corralling the students to be here tonight. And I've had the pleasure of being in her classroom and talking to several of these students and working with them directly, and it's just been wonderful. I'm just so thrilled that we're able to amplify the youth voice tonight. Cynthia, would you come up here with me, and where are you? Would you come up for a minute? Sorry. So you and I have been working on this program for what, like 5 months?
Yeah.
It seems like a long time.
Which is, yeah, it is a long time, but it's been great, and I love that you came. I know that the students really appreciated that you worked with them one-on-one, and I love that they're here. I love that you guys are doing
Yes,
this.
it's really great that they're here
I'm
to do
so
it.
excited for you guys, and it's fantastic. So the idea is to do more of this in the school and have the kids, just come out and just show how awesome high schoolers can be.
And they so are, and you're going to find out right now.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thanks, Cynthia. Our first storyteller is Ben Reynolds.
Hi, my name's Ben. I have a story about me and 3 of my friends just being dumb teenagers who had stupid ideas. So it was one day after a snowstorm, and we got a decent amount of snow. It was like the year where we got like 100+ inches all combined. So we had the bright idea to go throw snowballs at cars and houses. Yeah. So where I live, there's this spot that overlooks Centennial, and we thought, oh, hey, even though it's midday, let's go do it. Let's go have some fun. So we made up 3 rules before we even went and did anything. It was not to hit trucks, vans, or Jeeps. The trucks and vans, because sketchy people always come out of there. You never know what's going to happen. And the Jeeps, because one of my friend's parents drove a Jeep. So we made we made those 3 rules, and for the most part, it was going okay. We were hitting cars, like small cars, like we hit a Mini Cooper a couple times that kept passing us. That was funny. And I remember hearing this big truck start to zoom up the hill, and I turned to my friends, I say, don't throw it, there's a big truck coming. And 2 of my friends heard it, and 1 of my friends didn't. And he just made the biggest snowball possible and just whips it right at the windshield of the car. It didn't break the car, luckily. And the guy just stops short, looks directly at us, even though we're through trees and everything, and just looks it up and goes, "You effing kids." So he starts to reverse in the middle of the street, and all 4 of us book it up this tiny hill. We all split up, and me and my friend go up to Governor's Hill, and we wait up there for about 30 minutes just sitting there. We don't know what's going to happen. And so 30 minutes went by, and we thought we were in the clear. So we went back to my house, and my 2 friends were sitting there, like, shaking in their boots because they're scared. And I just remember seeing around the corner, the truck comes up, stops short in front of my house, sees us. We try and run all different directions, but it just didn't work. And he comes running at us, and he just sees me and my friend, and he's like, "Who threw that snowball at the car?" And immediately, I did not want to get in any trouble. This is like 7th grade me. I just immediately ratted out the friend that threw the snowball. I was just right away, I was like, it was him, it wasn't me. And and one of my friends stayed hiding behind a shed. He didn't even get in trouble. The guy didn't even know he was there. I was like, that's genius. Why didn't I think of that? And he didn't call the cops, thank God, because it definitely would have gone on record and hurt us a lot. He just gave us this big lecture. He was super mad at first. Like, I don't think, my mom has yelled at me a lot, and she's been wicked mad at me, but I have never seen a person that mad at us. And so, thank God we got let off the hook, and we learned our lesson from that, and we stopped throwing snowballs. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Our next storyteller is Emmanuel Ishweme.
Hey guys, my name is Emmanuel. I'm gonna tell you the story about my life and how it was to live with my dad. When I was young back in my country, which is Africa, in Kenya, I got sent away by my dad. It wasn't really sad because I knew why I was sent away. And out of 12 kids, I was the only one who was sent away to be with my dad's workers. And I stayed there for so long. I wanted to meet my dad and my family. When I came back home, my dad welcomed me like just for 1 minute. And he's like, "Hey son, you know what? Just get this money and go to the store and give me something." So I went to the store. When I went to the store, I saw beautiful basketballs right there in the box. And I looked at his stuff that he sent me to buy. I'm like, nah, that's not important. I spent so many time without playing basketball. Let me get my own basketball. So I spent the money in basketball. I didn't even go home. I went to the park and played basketball with my friends. After that, I got home late, and he's like, "Hey, what was the stuff that I sent you to buy? Did you get robbed?" I'm like, "No, where's the money then?" Like, I bought basketball. It had been a long time when I played basketball. He was like, "Okay, no problem, come here." And I went on front, he's like, "Raise your hand." I'm like, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "Don't ask me a question for the first time." And he's like, "Just remove your t-shirt." I removed my t-shirt and raised my hand. He just grabbed my belly button when my hand was up like this and just squeezed it. I didn't even have a mind to to put his hands off, I was just yelling, looking at him. I'm like, ah. And the next thing you know, I didn't even know how I peed in my pants. He was hurting me so much, I didn't know how I peed in my pants. And the next thing you know, it was like, he looked at me from my face to down. He's like, what happened to your pants? Like, just go and clean it up. I didn't even clean it up. I went out crying. But then after I realized what I have done, I came back. Then I slept there overnight, and like, he didn't even say, stay here for a while, it's been so long. He's just like, no, you gotta go back where you belong. And I just packed my stuff, and I took the basketball, even though I didn't have anywhere to play. I just took it and packed my stuff and went back. But then when he called me again, I was like, nah, I'm not coming back. He's like, I bought you another basketball. I'm like, no, I'm not coming back till you promise to wash my pants. So like today when we talk about that story, me and him is like, so you still want me to wash your pants? I'm like, yeah, you still have to wash my pants. I just bring him a random pants and give it to him. He washes it just to make me happy. Yeah, that's my story.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Our next storyteller is Cameron Dempsey.
First person of the evening who has to adjust the mic.
No, I'll adjust it for you. There you go.
Thank you. So, wow, I can't see any of you. Growing up, I had quite the imagination. I used to write my own songs, write my own books, pretend I have my own TV shows with a little camera like this. But one thing I did love growing up was superheroes. I loved reading the Spider-Man comics. I had a plethora of Superman memorabilia, and I was fascinated by Batman. And this led to me creating my own superheroes, such as Nutty and Nutso, two nutcrackers who knew Kung Fu, and Prankster Boy, an outlawed criminal who fought his enemies at night. So anyways, another thing I loved as a kid was Halloween. In the past, I had been Spider-Man, as mentioned before, Winnie the Pooh, and a giraffe. So one year, my mom asked me, hey, what do you want to be for Halloween? And I said, I want to be Quick Guy. And that's kind of where the fun begins here, because you see, Quick Guy is a superhero I came up with who stops his enemies by running really fast. And I think it's kind of a stretch to even call him a superhero. But that's what I wanted to be for Halloween. So I gave my mom a little description, like his origin, his powers, and most importantly, his costume. So my mom immediately went out and bought a white shirt and some paint. And she painted the shirt due to my description. She showed me the results, and this was my reaction. The top stripe is supposed to be red. So there she goes. She repaints the top stripe to be red, shows me the final result, and I say, it's supposed to go red, orange, green, black, not red, orange, green, red. And as you can probably tell, this went on for a while with me saying things like, he's supposed to have a sombrero. He's supposed to have a mask. The bottom stripe is supposed to be black. Like, you know, it just went on for a while. And so in the end, my mom suggested I draw an image, which I did. And after she had finished doing her best to adhere to my 6-year-old drawing abilities, she showed me the final results, and this was my final reaction. I love it! Thank you, Mom! So by the end of it, she was just happy the whole ordeal was over. But here's the important part. So what I ended up with was a red, orange, black, and green shirt, a red sombrero, a black mask, black pants, black cape, and Converse sneakers. So yeah, that was what my costume ended up being. So late October rolls around, and so does the Elks Halloween party, which I went to every year because I live nearby. And this year was no exception. So, much like all my favorite superheroes, it was time for me to suit up. Only my suiting up, what didn't happen in a telephone booth. So The first thing I remember is that the shirt was like 3 pounds due to all the repainting with tempera paint. And the other thing I remember is that the second I walked into a party, I saw one of my friends from school, and I went over him to go say hi. And I guess I must have spooked him a little, because the first thing he said was, "Ah, dude, you scared me!" Because you would be scared too if someone came up to you in a red sombrero and black mask, right? That's not just me? Okay. So once he had realized that was me, he asked me who I was, and I said, "I'm Quick Guy." And he's like, "Cool." And then we proceeded to enjoy the party. So then my second audience rolls around, and this isn't a bunch of kids. This audience is adults with bowls of fun-sized candies. So I go trick-or-treating with my family, and every house we go to, like, people ask me what I am, and I say, like, the same thing I said at the party, "I'm Quick Guy." So and they're, like, cool with it, but the thing I didn't realize was that my mom and dad were, like, apologizing to every house after I had left. Like, "We're so sorry. We told him to be Spider-Man." So anyways, that's the story, Quick Guy, and a lot of you are probably wondering, what's the point of the story? And the point is that one of them is that your mother will always be there for you, she will always support you, and the other one is that you should always be yourself, as corny as it sounds. Don't be a store-bought costume, be a quick guy. Thank you.
Thanks, Henry. Thank you, Cameron. Our next storyteller is Lawrence Scola.
I'm Lawrence. I'm telling you guys about the story of how I broke my nose. So, I'm not very good at basketball. Most of my friends know that. More of a football kind of guy. Like, it's fun. You don't have to shoot hoops. My kind of sport. So, I'm a 7th grader. Like all 7th graders, I go out in the playground after lunch, have fun with friends. For some reason, play basketball. I don't play basketball usually, I play football. So, I'm playing basketball with a bunch of people.
You're doing awesome!
I can't play. So while I'm playing basketball, a football comes out of nowhere. I don't know how this football got around. It just went up in the air and somehow hit the basketball, which was also in the air for some ungodly reason. So the football hits the basketball and comes directly straight at my nose, making it slanted. So I'm on the ground for like 2 seconds. Next thing you know it, the basketball makes a makes a revenge shot. It hits me right on the other side of the nose. I get up. I have no idea what happened. I'm bleeding profusely. My shirt's all covered in blood. My pants bloody. So I go to one of my friends and say, "What happened?" Because I didn't know what happened. I just saw a football come hit my nose. And they were the actual one that told me I'm bleeding, like, "You gotta see the nurse, like, go now," like. So I go to the nurse, and I finally look down at my shirt, and I'm like, holy shit, if I can swear. I'm sorry if I can't swear. So I go to the nurse, and I have to be dismissed from school. So my mom comes, picks me up, and asks me what happened. So I tell her the whole story with the football and the basketball. And the expression on her face, it was like, I can't even describe it. It was she didn't believe me at first, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I mean, so we go to the hospital, and all's fine. I explained to the doctor what happened. They have the same expression on their face. And they tell me I have a broken nose, and I get it fixed the next week, and that's the story.
Thank you, Lawrence. Our next storyteller is Brett Cagney.
Man, that last story was bananas. So, my story was about 2 summers ago, I think 8th grade. It was during the summer. And you know the Toodaloo's downtown toy store? I was there with my friend. We were just hanging around. And he saw these blood capsule things, like fake blood packets. It was a thing. He bought them. He walked outside, around the corner. Immediately, he's like, you should try this. Put it in your mouth, and like you pop the little thing. It looks like fake blood. And so like, okay. So I used one, and it tasted like just literal chemicals. Just tasted like chemicals. Just paint, like house paint. Like just a little house paint in your mouth. It was really disgusting. It was like a really gross, like a really gross Mike and Ike, if it like popped in your mouth. And didn't feel like it was very good for me, but my friend told me I should take the rest of them and put them in my mouth. I'm really easily influenced, so I threw them all in my mouth. And it just tasted like more paint, like a big mouthful of paint, you know, sipping straight from like the can. And it was disgusting. So I'm basically like throwing up this disgusting blood-looking garbage vial on the street, on the sidewalk. And I think 2 people walked by. They didn't want any of it. Pretty sure they thought it was Ebola of some kind. I mean, I wouldn't trust someone who's throwing up blood. But yeah, went home. I think I went and got some Gatorade, washed it out my mouth. It was pretty nasty. From there, I mean, the day just went on. It was pretty good. All right, I'm gonna split.
Brett the banana. Our last storyteller is Rebecca Dowd. Rebecca, come on up.
So last April vacation, my family went on a trip we went abroad. And we went to the Netherlands to visit my uncle, and so we were in Rotterdam for a good amount of time. And at the end of the week, we took the train to Amsterdam so we could see Amsterdam. And so so that day we grab our suitcases, we pack everything up, we say goodbye to our family, and we get on the train. And the Netherlands, all about trains. They have really efficient trains. But we get on, instead of getting like the speed train, we get on the commuter rail. And so we got on, and it's really crowded. And so Treely and I, my little brother is named Treely, and so we go to one side, and my parents go to the other side, and it's a double-decker car, and we're on the top level, and we're sitting there, and it's about an hour from Rotterdam to Amsterdam, and we're sitting there, and we're watching the tulips go by, and we're looking at the people biking, and we're having a nice time. We're listening to the people talking Dutch around us, and Treely and I are having a great time, and suddenly it's maybe 45 minutes, an hour later, and then Treely and I, our parents are like frantically gesturing at the other end of the train, and they're going off, and Treely and I are like, oh no, we've got to get off. And so we grab our suitcases, and we kind of have to push through, like it's pretty tightly packed, and we're trying we have to get down the stairs, but people are coming up the stairs, and so we're trying to push our way through, and so all the people come up, and we finally make our way down, and we're pressing the button to open the doors to get us off the train, and the button's not doing anything, and the doors are still closed, and we're pushing, and suddenly the train starts moving, and Truly and I are standing there going, "Wow," and my dad's standing there going, "What are you doing?" And my mom's saying, and suddenly they're on the train platform, and Truly and I are just on the train going in a foreign country, all by ourselves. And we don't have phones because when my parents had paid for cell phone plans, they were like, "Oh, the kids won't need cell phone plans. They'll just be with us the whole time. We're not going to pay that extra money." And and my mom had given us each 20 euros at the beginning of the trip for emergencies. But, it's our last day. And so she's taken that 20 euros throughout the trip to buy chocolate or to buy, like, these tomato wallets to store your tomatoes in. And so we have no money, no cell phones, and we're on a train in the middle of the Netherlands, and Truly and I are like, "Oh, no." And in America, there's 3 things they teach you when you're lost, which is stay where you are, find a policeman, and don't talk to strangers. And staying where you are, we're on a moving train, so that seems like not the best option. So we see that the stop, like they thought that was Amsterdam, but that wasn't Amsterdam. They got off too soon, and we realized pretty quickly that the next stop is Amsterdam. So Truly and I are on our way to Amsterdam by ourselves. And but finally we get there, and we get off the train, and you need to get on and off the train. You need to scan your tickets in the Netherlands. But my mom has taken Truly's ticket because she's worried he's going to lose it. So we just have my ticket. And so the next thing, you're supposed to find a policeman. But we get off the platform, onto the platform, and we see a policeman, but he's very large, and he has a very big machine gun, and we don't have Truly's ticket, and so we don't want to be like, "Oh, we're just trying to scam, like, through here," so Truly and I just avoid the policeman, and we just mosey our way on through, we kind of shove our way through the gates, and we're in Amsterdam by ourselves, it's fine, it's fine. And, the third thing they say is don't talk to strangers, but Truly and I, it's the 21st century, and what we realize is we need Wi-Fi, because if we have Wi-Fi, then we can get our phones to work, and we can get our contact with our parents. And so we just walk up to a person. People in the Netherlands, they're pretty chill. So we walk up to a person, we say, "Can you tell us where we can find Wi-Fi?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, go to the tourist center. It's right over there." And they point us to the tourist center. And Truly and I make our way there, and they have complimentary Wi-Fi, and they give us Dutch pancakes, which are like crepes, and we're talking to the people around us, and Truly and I are just having a great time. And we let our parents know where we are, because they were very stressed. They were like, "Oh no, the children are in Amsterdam alone. They're going to get kidnapped and sold." But, Truly and I are confident people, and that didn't happen. But, so I think what we learned was that, don't listen to your parents. Your parents tell you, your parents are like, "Okay, 3 things, these are what you always need to do." No, don't listen to that. Follow your own instincts. Thank you.
We need to listen to the young people. Indeed, we do. Yes. And today we were listening to the young people. Thank you all for coming to the class and working out these stories and taking a chance here tonight at Fishtails. And I applaud you, and I applaud your effort, and thank you so much for being here.